Boy, I'm all excited. This weekend's going to be a dandy. Good weather, it looks like, and the fishing's really picking up, and good reports to be passing on to you. A lot of good photos. In fact, at the end of the program, be sure to stick with Kathy and I, because at the end of the program we have our fishing photo roll, and a lot of good photos sent in this week. In fact, this past Sunday was the opening of the trout season at our trout streams. And my old buddy Catfish Rick was down at Roaring River. And at the end of that roll, we have some good trout photos to pass on to you. So we really have a good show for you today. A lot of great information. And again, I want to thank all the viewers out there. My golly, keep it up. Keep sharing. Love you all. Boy, we're having a lot of fun here on Fishing Chums. That's for sure. Let's go out to Beaver Lake. Water temperature actually got up in the 50s, 50, 51. That's a good sign, because it's been way back in the 40s at all of our lakes. It's really starting to move right now. And out at Beaver, we have reports of some walleye and white bass being caught up in the river areas, crappie as well. In fact, look at our buddy Lance. He always catches a good fish, nice crappie. He was up at Ford's Creek the other day. Look at this beautiful fish. Good going, Lance. Good going. And Fish On Guide Service, he was out yesterday. And look at this nice striper that they caught. A great guide service, Fish On Guide Service at Beaver. The stripers are moving, and he's been up in the river fishing as well for white bass and hybrids, and picking up a few walleye, I understand, as well. And Ryan, look at Ryan. He was out the other day. Look at this beautiful fish that he caught. This beautiful striper. So the fishing looks good and yummy this upcoming weekend out at Beaver. Boy, if you want a good striper trip, get a hold of Fish On Guide Service. There's several good guide services there, and they'll get you right on these stripers. And some nice walleye being caught. I've had down by the dam off the points too at Beaver, and down below the dam they've been picking up some walleye, and the trout fishing's been good this week as well. And like I said, the crappie are moving at Beaver. Get out there in about 15, 20, 25, 30 feet of water, experiment over the brush, find some shad. Jig seems to be working as good as anything. If you have to tip up the minnow, that would be good too. Beaver looks good for the upcoming weekend. Water temperature, I said, was up in the 50s now, 51 or 52. Let's go out at Table Rock. Oh boy, I was out at Kings River the other day. Didn't do much good. You know, I put in a viola there, and the water's kind of milky, was what I caught milky. Not muddy, but kind of milky. And the people who have been going out and using minnows or night crawlers, especially minnows, and in that Kings River area, have really been catching some nice walleye the last few days. Look at this little sweetheart. Look at that grin. Wow, what a beautiful walleye. Kings River, upper end of Table Rock. And some nice walleye have been caught, and several too. And so minnows, I think, just right off the bottom, get them swimming, put a little weight on it, put that minnow up, try to get a nice little chub, and you can do a little drifting or just still fishing, and you can catch yourself a nice walleye. By the way, the crappie fishing is good out at Table Rock as well. I've had reports up around Point 15 on the James River and back in Flat Creek. I've had good reports from a few crappie being caught in the Kings River, but in the White River, by the way, up the White River, they've been picking up some walleye. That water's clearer than the King and Kings River, and they've been trolling some flicker shads, picking up some walleye up there as well. But the crappie fishing, Long Creek's been good, had good reports there, and we've had some good reports out along the bluffs, up in the James River arm, find the brush piles, get down there with a jig or jigging minnow or just minnow, and you'll have a chance of picking up some nice crappie this weekend. In fact, John Saran, hey, he was out the other day. He was watching our show last week, and he decided he was going to go dock fishing. And look at John. He caught this nice crappie and also some nice crappie off of a dock in about 15 to 20 feet of water, and just on a artificial minnow and a jig, and picked up this bass as well. So don't overlook the dock fishing for crappie out at Table Rock. I tell you what, good fishing out there. Now the bass fishing, this is what you need in your tackle box if you're going to Table Rock this weekend. The A-rig, boy, that's been a good productive bait. Fishing that A-rig around some of the old standing timber along the bluffs, and also they're throwing it up around some of the docks and working it real slow. And they've been picking up some fish on one of my favorite baits. I tell you what, they've been picking up some fish on the Ned rig as well this week out at Table Rock. And of course, flipping jigs, finesse jigs around the docks and some of the brush piles. And I tell you what, crankbaits, I've had some good crankbait reports on wiggleworts, and your favorite crankbait should catch a bass out at Table Rock this weekend as well. So it looks good out at Table Rock. Water temperature was 49 degrees out there this morning. That's coming up out there. That's what we need. Okay, let's go out at Lake Taneycomo. They've been using the turbines, running some water, so drift fishing's been good for trout. This photo come in recently from Trout Hollow Lodge. We love the people out at Trout Hollow. They catch a lot of fish in this area. Look at this beautiful trout. Boy, that's good fishing there. 4-pound, 2-pound test line. Oh, gosh. This is what you need if you're going out to Taneycomo this week for you trout fishermen. If you're going trout fishing and there's a good current of drift, try to get like a 1/4 ounce weight, no more than a 1/2 ounce, so you don't want hanging up all the time. And get you just a leader and a minnow. If you can get a hold of some minnows, I'll tell you why minnows are good right now at Taneycomo, because the turbines, some of the shad are coming through and they're dying and kind of floating through. And so with that minnow, boy, it's a good match. And they've been catching several trout on minnows. Some people are using night crawlers, but I'd recommend cutting in half and using a half a night crawler at a time. But minnows sound real good. Power eggs, the Berkeley Power eggs, I'd still go with that white, try to match that shad. And also, I understand they've been picking up some trout on pink Power eggs as well. Some people are using that Berkeley trout worm in the pink or white. Put a float up above it, kind of experiment out on your depth. They're catching some fish on this as well. A few fish have been caught on little crankbaits. Taneycomo looks good for the upcoming weekend. Boy, I've had good reports out at Bull Shoals. That water temperature was 48 degrees out there this morning at Bull Shoals. And out on the main lake, the lower lake, I know a lot of the guys have been going out and pitching jigs. They've been using an A rig. Some people have been using the points and secondary points and back into the creek areas a little bit with your wiggle warts, so try that. And some people are going out on real bright days, not much sun, or quite a bit of sun, not no wind, getting out with drop shots and the Ned rig. Try this as well. And jerk baits. I forgot to say this on Table Rock. Don't overlook the jerk bait out there this weekend as well. But Bull Shoals jerk baits have been doing good. The A rig, Ned rig, and flipping some jigs have been pretty good out there as well. Some nice bass. What I love about Bull Shoals this time of the year, when you do get a hold of one, it's usually a dandy. In the lower end, I've had some good reports, some nice smallmouth being caught. Walleye, I would go up the White River, guys, and they have really caught some nice walleye. Of course, some of the people have been fishing below the Power Site Dam and the pool there. Quite a few fishing out there. But then move on up towards the bridge and on around the corner and some of the flats up there. They've been trolling some flicker shads, picking up fish. All the way, I've had reports all the way to the K-Dock area. They have actually caught walleye, working those points and flats on the way back and forth. And some nice walleye as well. And good reports, some really nice reports, some nice crappie being caught at Bull Shoals, some nice fish. In the brush piles, experimenting in the depth, I've heard anywhere from 15 to 18 to 25 and even 35 feet of water. Find the shad around the brush, check out the bluffs, find the shad, get out there with a jig. Oh boy, you can catch yourself some nice crappie this weekend out at Bull Shoals. 47 to 48 degrees out there, as I mentioned. Okay, let's go out to Stockton. It was actually 44 degrees out there in the temperature. Some people are fishing the rivers now. They're picking up some white bass at Stockton and a few walleye even up the river. And I've had good reports of some walleye being caught in the late evening hours down by the dam at Stockton and the points and secondary points on jerk baits. You have to work for them, but you have a chance of picking up some nice fish this weekend. And the crappie fishing's been good out there. In fact, look, my buddy Jeff Deckard, he was out last weekend. Boy, he can catch those crappie and a few walleye, he and his party. If you want a good guide on weekends this coming season, be sure to get hold of Jeff. Boy, he can put you on those fish. I tell you what, spider rigging and all that, he's an expert at. And we've had a good report also of Hunter Williams was out the other day, and he picked up some nice fish. Look at this. There you go. Good fishing out at Stockton. Okay, at Pomme de Terre, that water temperature was 47, 46 degrees out there this morning. Look at Corey. He was out the other day at Pomme de Terre. Ooh, boy, look at this nice crappie he got into. Really nice fish, Corey. Good going. You really got into him. I think he caught a couple limits, if I understand. And so the crappie fishing is still good. Finding the fish out on the main lake and find the brush piles, fish the timber, and you're going to catch some crappie at Pomme de Terre. And I had a report of some pretty good bass being caught at Pomme this week, and it seems like your A-rigs have been doing good out there, and a few crankbaits. By the way, going back to Stockton, I tell you, some nice bass have been caught out at Stockton too this week. It's been real good, and they've been using A-rigs. They've been using some crankbaits and jigs out there, and some jerk baits. Overlook that. But Pomme, getting back, I'm going back and forth. Pomme, good for crappie this weekend, I would think. Out at Truman, look at my buddy Jordan Lear. He was out there over the past weekend again, and he caught the catfish, the nice blue cats out there. He's got a guide service, and he's taking these people out and really getting some nice fish. And here's some photos as I'm talking here. I understand the cats are on some of the flats in pretty shallow water at times, and you're using either fresh shad, throwing that net out, getting shad and using them, or cut shad. Some nice cats have been caught out at Truman. Boy, the crappie are going too good. Back into the creeks a little way, and about ways anywhere from 10, 12, 15 feet of water. Experiment on your depth. Jigs, jigging minnows. The crappie they are catching out at Truman are really nice size. So look at those fish. And look at Randy. He was down below the dam at Truman. Look at this nice, Randy Williams was out just a couple days ago. Look at this beautiful walleye. They are picking up some fish down below the dam, and some walleye, some white bass, some crappie. If you have to hit it, but it's just right, you're going to catch fish there too. Lake of the Ozarks, I like old Dale Hale. Look at Dale. He was out the other day. Fished and fished and fished, caught a few crappie. He said the fishing was not bad, but the beer was cold. I like this guy. And he got this nice crappie. And Steve, look at Steve was out below the dam at the upper end of the Lake of the Ozarks. Look at this the photo of the week, guys. 67-pound cat at Lake of the Ozarks just recently. Look at that monster blue cat. Wow, that's a good fish. Photo of the week, Steve. Good going. Lake of the Ozarks. Now on the main lake at Lake of the Ozarks, they're still catching crappie. It's miss and go, hit and miss, I should say. But they are, if you get into the right situation, they're really catching some quick crappie out there. It seems like the crappie are moving a little bit, but if you do find them stationary over some brush, you might even look back in some of the coves, back in the bluffs, and fish the creek areas and find that magic depth, find the shad, you're going to catch crappie. Few fish are being caught around the docks, too, out at Lake of the Ozarks. Bass fishing's been pretty good for the few people who've been bass fishing. A-rigs have been good. Jerk baits is probably the best bait overall at Lake of the Ozarks, and of course jigs. So good going, Lake of the Ozarks. That water temperature out there was 43 this morning. Let's go out at Norfolk. It's a little bit further south, so the water temperature is 53 this morning. And some of the fish are moving. The white bass and the stripers and the hybrids are on some of the flats at times. Just use your good electronics and kind of just ease around those flats. See if you can find. You'll find them. You'll see them on your electronics when you do get over them. And the spoon fishing has been the best for that fishing. And stripers and hybrids and white bass. A few nice crappie have been caught out at Norfolk as well. Bass fishing has not been bad out there as well. So overall, it looks pretty good, guys. Looks like a good report for this first full week of March, and it's going to get better. I'm telling you, water temperature's easing up there. Boy, I'm really excited about this spring's fishing. It's already going good. Well, once again, we got some great photos coming up on our fishing photo roll. And opening of trout season this past Sunday, a lot of people were out, a lot of people catching fish. We'll be showing you this. And I do want to thank all of our people on Facebook here and over on YouTube. Gosh, over 20,000 viewers last week. God bless you. Keep passing the word. Keep sharing. Gosh, we're just having so much fun here. and we love to have you in on our family. And I call you guys chummers. You're my chummers. That's it. Pass the word. And be sure to subscribe right there on YouTube. Yeah, subscribe and like and share, both on YouTube and Facebook. Like and share. And also, if you have any photos you want to send us, join our group, our Fishing Chums group on Facebook. Boy, we have a lot of fun with our group. And send our pictures into our group page. That would be fun. And also, be sure, if you have any information, just email us. Email us at fishingchums@gmail.com. I finally got it all out. I'm kind of hurrying because I'm going to go jump in that Suburban and head to the lake. And I hope to see you out there this weekend. If you do, say hey. And if not, I'll see you next week right here on Fishing Chums Fishing Report. Old Gare saying, God bless you. I love you guys. Go out and get bit this weekend. Enjoy these photos.